Liam Carver trudged through the rocky canyon, his boots kicking up dust with every step. The sky above was a dull orange, the kind of color that made the desert world seem endless and empty. He had been sent on a routine supply run, carrying medicine and tools to the small outpost perched on the edge of the mountains. It was supposed to be simple work, quiet and safe. But something in the wind made him uneasy. He stopped, scanning the jagged cliffs around him. A strange sound reached his ears, a soft, pained whimper. Liam froze. That sound was not from any animal he had ever heard on this planet. It was closer, coming from a narrow crevice between two boulders. Slowly, he moved toward it, careful not to make a noise that would scare whatever was trapped. When he reached the crevice, his breath caught. There, lying on the rocks, was a tiny dragon-like creature. Its scales were pale blue, almost glowing in the dim sunlight, and one of its wings was bent at an odd angle. The baby dragon tried to lift itself but let out a weak, painful cry. Liam felt a pang in his chest. He had seen many strange creatures in his life, but none like this. Something about the small being's eyes, large, round, and filled with fear, made his heart ache. Liam knelt slowly, keeping his hands visible so the creature would not feel threatened. "It's okay," he whispered. "I won't hurt you." The baby dragon flinched but didn't run. Its small claws scraped the rock as it tried to move closer to him, as if it knew he might help. He looked around. The wing was badly injured. He had seen enough of alien injuries to know it would not heal on its own. Without thinking twice, Liam pulled out his medkit. He worked quickly but carefully, examining the broken wing. The creature whimpered, but there was no anger, no fear beyond the sharp edge of pain. Liam tore a strip of cloth from his sleeve and began wrapping the wing, making sure it was secure but not too tight. The dragon watched him the entire time, its bright eyes following every move. When the bandage was in place, Liam stepped back and exhaled. "There," he said softly. "You're going to be okay." He did not know if it was true, but he hoped it was. For a moment, the canyon was silent except for the creature's shallow breathing and the distant wind. The dragon moved slightly, testing the bandaged wing. A small hiss escaped its throat, not a sound of anger, but one of curiosity. Liam smiled. It was a start. Then, the dragon did something unexpected. It nuzzled his hand with its tiny head. The soft touch made him blink. He had saved it, and somehow it already trusted him. Liam felt a strange warmth spread through his chest. He had spent his life in dangerous places, helping humans, exploring unknown planets, and facing creatures far larger and more dangerous than this one. But this was different. This little creature had nothing but fear, and he had given it hope. He looked around again, thinking about the outpost. The baby dragon could not survive there alone. And yet, taking it with him would be risky. Dragons were rare on this planet, almost considered myths. If the wrong people saw him with it, trouble could follow. Still, Liam could not leave it behind. He picked the dragon up gently, cradling it in his arms. Its small claws clung to his jacket, and it let out a soft, almost thankful sound. The journey back was slow. The canyon was narrow and filled with loose rocks. Every step had to be careful. Liam talked to the dragon the entire time, giving it his name, Ashen. The dragon blinked at the sound of the name, tilting its head in curiosity. Liam laughed softly. Naming it made the burden feel lighter. Somehow, it felt more real. By the time he reached the outpost, the sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of deep red and gold. The small settlement looked peaceful, with smoke rising from chimneys and lights glowing in windows. But Liam knew that nothing about this day had been ordinary. He carried Ashen to his quarters, making a small bed for it with blankets and pillows. The dragon settled quickly, curling up as if it belonged there already. Liam watched it for a long time. He did not know what lay ahead. Other dragons might come. People might ask questions he could not answer. But in that quiet room, with Ashen's soft breathing filling the space, he felt something he had not felt in a long time: hope. One small act of courage, one decision to help a creature in pain, had already changed everything. Outside, the wind swept through the canyon. Liam knew the galaxy was vast, full of dangers and unknowns. Yet, in this small corner of the universe, a human and a dragon had found a connection that neither of them could have imagined. And somehow, he had a feeling that this was only the beginning. Liam woke early the next morning, the faint orange light of the rising sun spilling through the small window of his quarters. Ashen stirred beside him, blinking its wide, curious eyes. The tiny dragon stretched its bandaged wings slowly, testing the movement, and let out a small, happy chirp. Liam smiled. The creature was stronger than he had expected. He sat beside the little dragon, careful not to scare it, and offered a piece of dried food he had brought from the outpost stores. Ashen sniffed it first, then nibbled delicately. Liam watched, fascinated. Every small action felt important, as if he were learning a new language. Somehow, they were already beginning to understand each other without words. The rest of the outpost had started stirring. Miners, traders, and explorers went about their morning chores, unaware of the strange visitor hiding in Liam's quarters. He knew he had to keep Ashen safe, at least for now. Dragons were not creatures people expected to see, and rumors of their existence could bring more danger than Liam was ready for. Still, he could not help feeling proud. The baby dragon trusted him, and that trust was rare in a galaxy filled with fear and suspicion. Liam spent the day caring for Ashen. He cleaned the small wounds that had been hidden beneath the torn scales, made sure the bandage stayed secure, and let the dragon explore the small room under careful supervision. Ashen was cautious at first, sniffing every corner, every shadow, but curiosity soon won. The little dragon hopped onto tables, crawled over pillows, and even attempted a small, awkward flutter with its wing. Liam chuckled. "One day, you'll fly like the stories say," he whispered. By evening, Liam noticed something strange. Ashen's cries, soft and melodic, seemed to carry further than he expected. From the shadows near the cliff surrounding the outpost, small movements caught his eye. Dark shapes slipped between rocks, watching them. Liam's heart raced. He had seen many wild creatures, but nothing like this. The shapes were dragon-like, slender, winged, and moving with a careful, almost intelligent grace. He stayed calm, not wanting to alarm Ashen. "It's okay," he murmured, stroking the dragon's head. "I think they're watching you." The baby dragon blinked up at him, tilting its head in a way that made Liam's chest tighten. Somehow, Ashen understood that he was protecting it. The night was quiet, but the tension was sharp. Liam kept watch, and the other dragons did not approach directly. He noticed small signs of their presence, scattered stones, broken branches, and shadows shifting on the canyon walls. They were waiting, cautious and curious, much like Ashen had been the first day he met him. Over the next few days, Liam formed a routine with Ashen. He fed the little dragon, taught it to respond to simple commands, and let it explore the safe areas around the outpost. In return, Ashen offered trust, affection, and even playful gestures that made Liam laugh out loud. The bond between them grew quickly, stronger than Liam expected. He realized that he had never felt this connection with another living being, not even with humans he had worked with for years. Then, one afternoon, it happened. While Liam was repairing a small crate outside, Ashen let out a high-pitched whistle. Liam looked up, and his stomach tightened with surprise. From the distant cliffs, several dragons, small, medium, and even one larger than Ashen, appeared. They were careful, watching, and maintaining distance. Their eyes glimmered in the sunlight, intelligent and cautious. Liam froze. The dragons were not threatening, but they were clearly drawn to Ashen. And because Ashen was with him, they had not attacked or fled. Slowly, he approached them, keeping his hands visible. "It's okay," he said softly. "I won't hurt you." The dragons paused, shifting their wings nervously, but did not move closer yet. He returned to Ashen, who chirped and ran toward the new arrivals. The tiny dragon's confidence seemed to give the others permission. One by one, the dragons crept closer, their movements careful, almost hesitant. Liam's mind raced. He had never imagined this. One act of courage, one choice to help a single dragon, had drawn dozens more. The dragons were not aggressive, instead, they seemed needy. Injured wings, scars, and limping legs told Liam they had survived something violent. It was clear now that the canyon had been a refuge, a place to hide from enemies or hunters. Liam's heart ached. These creatures had endured so much, and now they were looking to him for help. For the first time in his life, Liam realized what courage truly meant, not fighting alone, not risking danger for oneself, but standing up when others depended on you. The dragons were not just creatures, they were living beings capable of fear, pain, and trust. And they had chosen him. He stepped forward slowly, carrying supplies from the outpost. Bandages, herbs, and small tools, everything he could use to help the dragons heal. Ashen stayed at his side, chirping softly, as if giving encouragement. One of the larger dragons limped forward, eyeing him carefully. Liam knelt, holding out his hands. "I'm here to help," he whispered. The dragon hesitated for a moment, then lowered its head slightly. Liam's heart leapt. Small victories like this mattered, more than he could explain. One by one, the dragons came closer, trusting him to care for them. Liam knew it would be dangerous, exhausting, and maybe even deadly at times, but he also knew he could not walk away. That night, Liam sat among the dragons, cleaning small wounds and adjusting bandages. Ashen curled against his side, and the others watched quietly, some resting nearby, others standing protectively. For the first time, Liam understood what it meant to be part of something bigger than himself, a family, a bond, and a chance to change the fate of creatures who had suffered too long. The canyon was silent under the starlit sky, but Liam could feel the quiet energy of dozens of dragons around him. And deep inside, he knew one thing: this was only the beginning. One human's choice had already made a difference. Soon, he realized, that difference could change everything. The next morning, Liam woke to the soft rustling of wings. Sunlight spilled across the canyon walls, and dozens of dragons were visible on the cliffs and in the open spaces near the outpost. They were larger than Ashen now, and their scales shimmered in shades of blue, green, and bronze. Liam's heart pounded. He had never seen so many dragons in one place, not even in the hollow records he had studied before. Ashen chirped excitedly, hopping from one of Liam's arms to the ground. The little dragon ran toward a larger one, nudging it gently. The larger dragon hesitated, then lowered its head in acknowledgement. Liam smiled softly. Ashen's trust had paved the way, and the others were beginning to follow. Liam moved carefully, carrying a small bag of supplies. He knew he had to act slowly, showing patience and respect. One of the medium-sized dragons limped toward him. Its wing was torn, and a long scratch ran down its side. Liam knelt, keeping his hands open and visible. "It's okay," he whispered. "I just want to help." The dragon studied him for a long moment. Its amber eyes were cautious, but Liam sensed intelligence there, understanding. Slowly, the dragon lowered itself, allowing Liam to touch the wound. Liam worked quickly, wrapping the wing and applying a healing gel from his kit. Ashen chirped beside him, as if giving approval. As Liam treated the dragons one by one, he noticed subtle signs of a pattern. Many of them were injured in the same way: broken wings, claw scratches, faint burn marks. Something had hunted them recently. His mind raced. Whoever had attacked them had been organized and ruthless. Liam realized that helping them was not just an act of kindness, it might also put him in danger. The dragons seemed to sense it too. They stayed close to him, watching carefully, their trust growing but still wary. Ashen ran between them, chirping and nudging, and Liam noticed that the little dragon's courage inspired the others. If Ashen could trust a human, maybe they could too. By midday, Liam had treated nearly half of the dragons. He felt exhausted, but a deep satisfaction warmed his chest. He had faced danger in many ways before, but this was different. These creatures had chosen him, and he could not let them down. One human's courage had already begun to make a difference. Suddenly, a sharp noise echoed across the canyon. Liam froze. The dragons stiffened, their wings spreading slightly, alert. From a distant ridge, a small group of humans appeared. They were not from the outpost. Their weapons glinted in the sun, and they moved with a purposeful speed that told Liam they were hunters. Liam's heart sank. He had suspected danger, but seeing it so clearly made his stomach twist. The hunters had seen the dragons, or smelled them, and they would not leave without trying to capture some. The dragons hissed and growled, circling Liam protectively. Ashen chirped loudly, running to him, and Liam knew they trusted him to keep them safe. He stood, holding his hands high to calm them. "Stay back," he shouted. His voice echoed through the canyon. The hunters paused, confused by the dragon's behavior. Liam realized he had to act fast. He grabbed a small flare from his belt and shot it into the air. The bright light and sudden noise startled the hunters, causing them to hesitate. Meanwhile, the dragons began to respond. Some leapt into the air, flapping their wings and making sharp cries that echoed across the canyon. The sound was terrifying, yet beautiful. The hunters faltered, unsure how to deal with so many creatures at once. Liam knew it was only a temporary distraction. He had to move the dragons to safety. He ran toward the safer cliffs with Ashen at his side, calling the other dragons to follow. They hesitated at first, but Liam's voice and Ashen's chirps guided them. One by one, the dragons took flight, awkward at first but gaining strength as they followed Liam through narrow passages and hidden paths. Liam's heart pounded with fear and exhilaration. He had never felt so alive. After a tense journey, they reached a secluded canyon filled with shadows and rocks, a place no human hunters could easily enter. Liam guided the dragons to rest there, checking each one carefully. Their injuries were severe, but they were alive, and he had protected them. Ashen curled against his side, exhausted but happy. As Liam looked at the dragons surrounding him, he realized something important. This was no longer just about a single act of kindness. One human's choice had changed the lives of dozens of dragons. And maybe, if he continued to protect them, it could change the galaxy's view of humans too. Night fell, and the canyon was silent except for the soft breathing and occasional chirps of the dragons. Liam sat among them, tired but alert. He knew that more challenges would come. Other humans might try to hunt them, and the dragon's enemies were still out there. But for now, he felt a strange peace. The dragons trusted him, and he had earned that trust with courage and care. As stars began to twinkle in the sky, Liam whispered to Ashen, "We're in this together, buddy. No matter what comes next, we'll face it." Ashen chirped in response, nuzzling Liam's hand. Around them, the other dragons shifted closer, forming a circle of trust and protection. Liam realized something that made his chest swell with pride. One human's courage, one choice to help, could inspire more than just gratitude. It could inspire loyalty, trust, and hope. The dragons had chosen him, and he would not let them down. Not ever. And somewhere deep in the shadows of the canyon, he felt the quiet presence of the unknown, the challenges and dangers still waiting. But Liam Carver was ready. He had faced fear before, and now he faced it for a greater cause, for life, for trust, and for the bond between humans and dragons. The next morning, Liam woke to a low rumble echoing through the canyon. He had barely opened his eyes when Ashen leapt onto his chest, chirping urgently. Liam rubbed his face, heart already pounding. Something was wrong. The dragons were restless, their wings twitching, tails flicking nervously. Liam climbed to a high rock and looked around. In the distance, a cloud of dust rose from the canyon entrance. He squinted and saw movement, hunters. Not just a few, but a group large enough to be dangerous. They carried nets, tranquilizer guns, and heavy equipment. Their intentions were clear. They wanted the dragons. Liam's stomach twisted. He had expected danger, but seeing it so close made his chest tighten. He looked at Ashen, whose small eyes were wide with fear. The other dragons hissed and stomped, forming a defensive line. Liam felt a surge of determination. He could not let them take these creatures. They had trusted him. He had promised to protect them. He ran to the dragons, shouting to calm them. "Stay together. Follow me." His voice was steady, but inside, adrenaline burned. Ashen chirped and darted ahead, signaling the other dragons to move. Liam led them through narrow passes and hidden trails he had discovered during previous days. The hunters shouted, firing nets, but the dragons were fast. Some flapped clumsily, others ran on strong legs, but all followed Liam's direction. The group reached a small plateau. Liam quickly set traps he had prepared with rocks and ropes. He knew he could not fight the hunters head-on, he had to outsmart them. When the hunters arrived at the plateau, they tripped over rocks, tangled in ropes, and were slowed down. The dragons hissed and flapped, creating chaos. Liam felt a thrill of hope. It was dangerous, but he had given the dragons a chance. Even with the hunters slowed, Liam knew they could not hold them off forever. Some dragons were hurt, and their wings were not strong enough to fly far. He ran among them, adjusting bandages, giving quick encouragement. Ashen chirped loudly, running between Liam and the others, keeping them calm. Liam realized something important. Courage was not just his, it was contagious. Ashen's small bravery gave the others strength. The hunters roared in frustration, but Liam had another plan. He led the dragons toward a narrow canyon path only a few could fit through at a time. The hunters tried to follow, but the path was too tight and some fell behind. Liam encouraged the dragons to move quickly but carefully. Every step mattered. During the escape, a larger dragon limped behind, its wings still weak. Liam stopped and carefully lifted it. "I've got you," he whispered. The dragon's amber eyes softened, and it let him carry it without struggle. The other dragons waited, watching, and then continued following. Liam felt a surge of pride. Trust had grown into something more, something stronger than fear. By mid-afternoon, they reached a hidden cave he had spotted days before. It was small, but secure, with high walls and a narrow entrance. Liam guided the dragons inside, checking each one's injuries. He set up a small area with water, food, and blankets. Ashen curled at his feet, tired but alert. The other dragons settled around, watching him carefully. Liam knew this was temporary. They could not stay hidden forever. But for now, they were safe. The hunters would not find them in this secluded place, at least not quickly. Liam allowed himself a brief moment of rest. His hands ached from bandaging and carrying, but his heart was full. He had kept his promise, he had protected them. Night fell, and the cave grew quiet. Liam sat near the entrance, watching the stars. The dragons had finally relaxed, some curling up, others standing guard silently. He looked at Ashen, who blinked sleepily, and realized how far they had come. From a single injured dragon to dozens trusting him, the bond had grown beyond anything he had imagined. But Liam could not ignore the risks. The hunters were still out there, and the dragon's enemies might return in greater numbers. He had to prepare. Tomorrow, he would need to gather more supplies, reinforce the cave, and find a way to warn other outposts. It was dangerous, but he was ready. He had faced fear before, and now he faced it for something greater, the lives of the dragons who had chosen him. He felt a hand on his shoulder, it was Ashen, nudging him gently. Liam smiled. The little dragon had been his guide through this chaos, teaching him patience, trust, and courage. In return, he had given Ashen safety, care, and hope. Together, they had begun something larger than themselves. Liam whispered softly, "We can't give up. Not now. Not ever." The dragons seemed to understand. Some shifted closer, pressing their bodies near him as if offering protection and gratitude. Others huffed softly, a quiet sign of trust. Liam realized this was more than a bond, it was a family, a team. And for the first time, he felt truly connected to something beyond himself. As he lay down to rest, he knew that the next day would bring more challenges. The hunters might return with reinforcements. The dragons would need care, and the secret of their existence could attract others. But for now, he had courage. He had trust. And he had life, the life of dozens of dragons who had risked everything to follow a human who chose to care. And Liam Carver, exhausted but proud, understood something powerful. One human's courage could inspire more than loyalty, it could inspire hope, trust, and even survival. The galaxy was wide and full of dangers, but with this bond, he knew they had a chance. One small act of bravery had grown into something extraordinary. The morning air was crisp, and the cave felt unusually quiet. Liam woke early, listening to the soft breathing of the dragons around him. Ashen was already awake, stretching his tiny wings and chirping softly. Liam smiled. The little dragon had grown stronger, braver, and more confident each day. But today, he knew, danger was coming. From the ridge outside, a faint rumble reached his ears. Liam's stomach tightened. The hunters had returned. He could see them now, moving carefully, organized and determined. This time, there were more of them. They had come with reinforced nets, cages, and weapons designed to subdue even the strongest dragons. Liam's chest burned with anger. These creatures had done nothing to deserve this. He quickly gathered the dragons. "Stay close," he whispered. "We have to be smart. We can't fight them head-on." Ashen chirped and ran along the line of dragons, nudging them to move. The others huffed softly, wings twitching, waiting for Liam's direction. Liam realized that the dragons trusted him completely now. Every movement he made mattered to them. Liam led them through a narrow canyon path, one he had scouted weeks before. The walls were high, jagged, and twisted, giving them cover and making it difficult for humans to follow. The hunters arrived at the canyon entrance and froze. They could see some dragons, but the path was too tight for all of them. Liam knew this was their advantage. He turned to the dragons. "We need to move fast. Trust me." Ashen chirped loudly, and the other dragons followed. Liam ran ahead, guiding them with hand signals and soft whistles. The dragons obeyed, even the larger ones, moving carefully through the rocks and narrow passages. Every step was tense, but they were working as a team. The hunters tried to follow, firing nets and tranquilizers, but the canyon made it impossible. Some hunters fell, tripping over rocks. Others were slowed by the twisted paths. Liam's mind raced. He had to protect the dragons, but he also had to prevent the hunters from regrouping. He needed a plan, and he had one. He led the dragons to a small plateau with overhanging cliffs. Rocks were piled on either side, ready to roll if needed. Liam whispered to the dragons, "We're going to make this work. Stay calm." Ashen chirped, hopping beside him, full of energy and confidence. The other dragons positioned themselves defensively, wings spread, tails twitching. Liam felt a rush of pride. Courage had grown in them, just as it had in him. When the hunters finally arrived at the plateau, Liam rolled the rocks, sending a small avalanche down the slope. The hunters scrambled, shouting in frustration as the dragons took flight. Some soared above, hissing and screeching, while others stayed on the ground, careful and alert. Liam moved quickly, using flare lights and loud noises to disorient the hunters further. The dragons' cries echoed through the canyon. Liam watched them, his chest swelling with pride. They were following his direction perfectly. One injured dragon, a large bronze one, limped forward, ready to defend Liam. Liam ran to it, helping it stay steady, and whispered, "You've got this. We're together." The dragon nodded in a way only Liam could understand. After a tense battle of strategy, the hunters began to retreat. They realized the dragons were too smart, too fast, and too coordinated to capture. Liam didn't chase them. He knew victory wasn't about hurting anyone, it was about protecting those who trusted him. The dragons had survived, and that was enough. As the canyon fell silent, Liam took a deep breath. The dragons circled him, some landing nearby, others perching on rocks. Ashen fluttered onto his shoulder, chirping softly. Liam laughed, exhausted but triumphant. The small dragon had led them all, inspiring courage in the larger dragons. And he had kept them safe. Liam looked around at the dragons' faces, seeing gratitude, trust, and even joy. He realized something important: one human's courage had changed their fate. One act of kindness, one decision to help, had grown into something extraordinary. The dragons would not forget him. They had risked everything to follow him, and in return, he had risked everything to protect them. Night fell, and the canyon glowed under the stars. Liam sat among the dragons, feeling their warmth and presence. He could hear soft breathing, the occasional chirp, and the rustle of wings. They were no longer just survivors, they were a family. A team. A living proof that humans could inspire hope and trust across species, across worlds. He whispered to Ashen, "We did it, buddy. We really did it." Ashen nuzzled his hand, chirping softly. Around him, the other dragons moved closer, some resting their heads on rocks near Liam, others curling their tails protectively. He had earned their trust through courage, patience, and care. Liam knew the hunters might return someday, or other dangers might appear. But he also knew something stronger: humans had the ability to make a difference. One brave choice, one act of kindness, could inspire hope, loyalty, and even survival across a galaxy filled with fear. He looked at the dragons under the starlit sky. Their eyes glimmered, reflecting the light of the distant planets and stars. Liam felt something swell inside him: pride, hope, and a fierce sense of purpose. The dragons had chosen him, and he had chosen to protect them. Together, they were unstoppable. And in that quiet, powerful moment, Liam Carver understood something deep and true. Humans were more than explorers, warriors, or survivors. Humans could inspire courage, change lives, and create bonds that no enemy could break. One human's courage had saved dozens of dragons. One human's heart had changed the fate of many. The galaxy was wide and dangerous, but Liam knew this: wherever there was need, wherever there was life in danger, a human could make a difference. And tonight, in a quiet canyon under a blanket of stars, he had done exactly that.